Hmm. Okay. Okay.
Drum roll, please.
Oh,
Joy to the world.
Well, greetings and salutations, everyone. Hope everyone is doing very well. It is, as you can tell, I'm battling a little bit of a sinusy, junky nonsense, but here we are, our last Hawk Hard of the year, gentlemen. What a crazy roller coaster ride we have had. I thought we would spend a night looking back, talking about some of the bests and worsts, and I don't really know that I have a framework exactly how we're going to do that, but here we are. Let's do it. So, Ironcaster brother, how are you holding up, my friend?
I am doing fantastic. I am ready to kind of go settle in, enjoy the holidays, and finally get a chance to watch a couple of my favorite like holiday classics here. I just got about 1 or 2 more days left to work, and then I can kind of relax.
Very cool. Very cool. Stone
It is
Loki,
good.
brother, what's going on?
It's going. It's going. Been watching Christmas movies, trying to get into the Christmas spirit. I'm working on it.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, let's get to chat. And it was so cool, man. I got to come into chat and we got to welcome a new member. Daryl the Derelict is one up and again here being a member with us. It's so cool to see that, bro. Thank you so much for partnering and doing that kind of thing. It's awesome. Whitechapel is here. Whitechapel, obviously, he sent me a box. So if we have time at the end, the boys may not be with me, but I'm going to open the box. I actually cut it so that at least I can get in it with all the tape. But he sent him a box, so we're gonna bust open into Whitechapel's box later on. Whitechapel, Chris Persia, of course. How you doing, Chris? Hope you're doing well, my friend. The Pops Mod, also a member. Thank you, brother. Thank you so much for everything you do for us, keeping the Talk Hard going. Yeah, Chris is responding to the look. Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio look. It was definitely different. I think when I did my review, I kind of talked about that just briefly. I think that may be one of the things that some folks may not enjoy it. And Ryan the Machine, there he is from across the pond. Ryan Roger Athe, he's hopping in here. Thank you so much, Ryan. Also, thanks for your membership and support. Claude is here as well. People keep rolling in here.
I get it. Can I give a shout out really quick, Pops?
Yeah, of course.
Whitechapel put up some pictures the other day, and one of them was a BattleTech robot. It has all the mechs from BattleTech on it. So you've got like the Atlas, and you've got the Catapult, and all the badass mechs from BattleTech. And I was like, dude, I would so have that on my wall. And I got a box today from Whitechapel, and that poster was folded up inside that box. And dude, I'm going to be moving around mid-July. So I put it back safely in the box. And as soon as we are moved, I'm going to go to the whatever the hell it is, the store where you can buy the things, Hobby Lobby. Go to Hobby Lobby. I'm going to get a frame. I'm going to put it in a glass frame, and I'm going to frame that. Thank you so much, my friend. It's been a weird been a weird time this last month, and I've been having a really hard time getting into the Christmas spirit. And dude, that came in today, and I opened it up, and I was like, dude, that is so cool. So thank you, brother. Thank you so much. Yes, it came in.
Yeah, I was very excited. This box, and it's like it just says in giant letters "Pops" on it. I'm like, holy crap, what is this? And I of course messaged him since then. So Cannoli Sasquatch is here. Hey, Cannoli, awesome show, by the way. He was running solo with the Mrs. C. Always a good time, by the way. So make sure you check that out. Panawanabe, the man himself. It's only appropriate that he's here. The worse and worser with a good point or two. We'll see. I think we can find some good things out there, Panawanabe. Of course, you contributed to this show as well with one of our favorite moments with you throwing down the wax pack gum. So, all right. So let's do that. Let's get right to a couple of positives. I'll let Loki go first. Loki, so what is like if you had to pick like the best, I don't know if you want to make it, it's a subjective thing anyway, but let's just say you throw a nominee into the hat here for like best film of the year.
Top Gun, Immediately, it's going to be Top Gun. What a great movie! Harkens back to old cinema. You have got a true star with Tom Cruise. Not any of this. Oh well, we came, we saw, and we acted like we were important, but we're not really important. Got to be Top Gun, top movie of the year, Top Gun. But if you ask me what series was the best, it's got to be Halo.
See, because it brought us together. Because it brought us together. That's why it would be the best. It would be so. Yeah, no, I can't disagree with obviously having Top Gun in that conversation. Obviously, I was on the camp of I don't really need another Top Gun movie. Why are we doing this? And then of course I'm blown away at how amazing this film is. So superior to the original film. I just, the story is so tight. The execution is great. So I mean, Ironcaster, you obviously are nodding. You obviously agree.
Oh yeah. I enjoyed going to see it. I kind of went the extra mile with it. I went up north. I saw my dad right around Memorial Day when it came out. Him and we took a whole day. We're like, let's go to the movies. Of course, up there, the nearest movie theater was like 2.5, 3 hours drive.
Oh my gosh.
So us driving all the way across the state just to go to a movie theater. We get there. Or like, he's never gone to an IMAX or any of that. So we're like, let's go. We get there. The thing was completely sold out. The next one was gonna be a couple of hours away before they'd be able to go again. Before we'd be able to get in. And it's like, are we just gonna really wait here? No, there's this a little smaller theater, closer to home, so we kind of get halfway back. We saw it there. We had a blast, kind of traveling across the state. I got to do some father-son bonding with my dad.
That's awesome.
And it was well worth it. We got to get together, just kind of like, it brought me back to like kind of memories of like me growing up having this like model like F-15 Tomcat that like my dad was building, and I was kind of helping out, and it brings back a lot of memories from surrounding like childhood memories, and Top Gun worked a way that really brought that to me. To kind of get back into the actual movie itself, it was phenomenal. Like everyone at that theater was getting kind of choked up seeing Val Kilmer show up on showing up in his scene. And the other thing I really remember about it was before the movie starts, Tom Cruise took a moment to thank the audience for their time for coming to the theaters.
Yeah. Daniel said he saw it 3 times. He really doesn't even care about the original film. That's really I kind of lean more that direction, Daniel, where like we watched the original again and we both were kind of like meh about it, and then we watched this one twice. So yeah, I couldn't agree more. There's definitely something special about it.
And I've got a little bit of a different view on that original movie because I grew up in a Navy family. I grew up in a Navy family where these guys were like gods, man. You got to understand something, when you're growing up and you're like, oh, I like He-Man and He-Man's my hero and this person. And yeah, I had Superman and shit, but I want to tell you something. I lived around pilots. So the superhero guys were real life in 3D right in front of me, and they all had mustaches. They all had these goose style fucking mustaches, and they all wore them. The 70 porn stash was like, this is what superheroes look like. They wore dress whites, they had mustaches, and they wore aviators. So it was like, it's really weird because I go back to that movie and I'm the original, and I can't help but think about that life, that time, and living in that time and experiencing that time. And then to see, I'm really, really happy I got to see the first preview where he's flying in Russia in the F-18. I got to see that preview with my dad. I got to watch it. I watched it over the phone. We shared that experience before he passed away. It sucks he never got to see the movie. He would have loved it. Best movie of the year, easy.
All right, Ironcaster, let's go to you, and you can put your aviators away, I guess. Let's throw another one on the list. You pick one that you want to add to the list. What's another one that needs to be on the best of the year conversation?
Oh, that's gonna be a tough one. I mean, there were a few. There were a few. A couple. We had a couple of really good films that came out this year that hit big. And
You
then
got to
you
save
have
me a couple to pick from, so you got to be careful. So you got to give me something to pick from, so you can at least add one.
yeah, and it's gonna be one of the. It's gonna the other one that really comes to mind is RRR.
Yeah,
I gotta go
it's
there.
something special.
That was the movie. That was like the sleeper hit of the year. Basically, from like February when that thing first came out, when I first heard guys like Culture Casino talking about it, all the way throughout this year, I always heard someone talk about you. They're like they saw RRR. This is the movie. It was the movie everyone was talking about that had that sort of shelf life around the same as like Top Gun did. Just that was sort of the streaming version of Top Gun in a way.
Sure. Yeah, no, I agree. Bobby, I do see you there, buddy. We'll get to TV stuff maybe in a minute. Hey to you, and hey to Zombie Box Reviews as our ZBRs here. Yeah, look, again, I'm not into Bollywood at all. I've long since abandoned that. So, of course, all this talk about an Indian film like this, and Zax and Flaccid, and as you mentioned, we have Latino slant and culture. These different people that we respect in our community are praising this film. I remember watching this, and I was just like, what the heck have I just watched? This is crazy good. Like, I don't, and I will admit, like, I want to like other ones as much. There's really only one other one that's even remotely that good of a quote film, but it's not nearly as entertaining. It's more of a heavy drama. RRR just has almost everything for everyone. It's just a very special film, that kind of thing. Loki, did you ever get a chance to see it? I know last we talked,
Yes.
I don't think you had. Okay. What was your thoughts? Because I know you kind of came in a little bit later too to the game of like, oh crap, this is something everybody's talking about.
Okay, so you're talking about movies that go to the beat of their own drum. And RRR definitely goes to the beat of its own drum, but it's really, really good. And you could almost compare it to the Monty Python movies. There's some of that. There's some of that raw. We're gonna do whatever. Well, we're gonna do what we want and what we think is entertaining, and you can roll with that, or you can sit there and scratch your head and not get it. That's the easiest way for me to explain it. Is you can roll with it and have a great time, or you can scratch your head and go, I don't get it. And if you don't get it, that's fine. I really don't care. I can get it.
Yeah.
I can understand that. But for the people that do get it, holy shit, what a fun ride.
Yeah. Daniel says RR is another winner. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, just with the pacing of that movie, how it at about an hour and a half into the movie, you're having this big buildup of this big fight with all the tigers running around, mauling people. You're having the themes like the fire and the water coming together, fighting, where it seems like this by all accounts should be the big climax of the movie. And we're only at the halfway point.
I know. I felt the same way. I'm like, I don't understand what else could we possibly do in this film to keep me engaged for another hour. I couldn't believe it. It's like they just have so much bang for buck in their films, and they have no problem mixing genres together and that kind of thing. It's crazy. I'm going to say something that Daniel's kind of alluding to. He says, R is another winner. I didn't overnight stay in a city to see that in a theater. Yeah, I really hope that it gets a re-release around Oscar season, which is a conversation in and of itself. But I do hope so I can get a chance to actually see it in the theater. Made a Rubber popped in and says, what's hard? Talk is hard. Come on, dude. It's on brand. Let's go. And Daniel says, look to Loki, your Monty Python comparison, an interesting one. I get what you mean. Cool. Very cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, all right. So if I get to add one more, and then we can kind of do like maybe there's others that should be in the conversation. I'm probably going to pick the only film that will keep RR from winning certain awards, and that's going to be All Quiet on the Western Front. It's a Netflix film. It's a remake. The remake, of course, the film is an adaptation of a book. It's an anti-war book in film and themes, but it's not political. Like, it has sort of a anti class conversation and metaphor with it. Like, so here's all these soldiers in World War One in the grit and the mud and the dirt and the chaos, and they'll cut away and juxtapose that with the Germans elite having all this food and all this luxury and all this life where they're making, you know, battle decisions, sending more grunts into harm's way. And the film is beautifully shot, beautifully executed, tightly written. It's a German film, so it will be nominated opposite RR in the international categories. I don't know what other categories it will get nominated in Oscars. I know overseas there's different categories it's winning because of sound, editing, those kinds of things. I don't think any of those are going to win here. Top Gun's going to win, you know, some of the sound and effects, and rightfully so, right? So that's fine.
This is the third movie. This is the third movie. This is the second remake they make. 'Cause they remade this when I was a teenager. And the original black and white, if anybody's ever seen that, you know how it ends. It's one of the most like
Sure.
I saw that in school and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that this is the way it ends. And yeah, that's the way it ends. So
it is heart-wrenching. It is an incredible film, and it is one that it's a book that really kind of changed my life. I know a lot of people who disagree with me on some political stuff, and this is part of the reason why. It's like the horrors of war should always make us pause, and the film is set out to do that, just as the book was, and that kind of thing. Hey, Leia Rose, who popped in. Adega Outlaw, the crazy doctor, he's up in here. So, and Ryan is echoing that All Quiet on the Western Front is one hell of a film, especially the latest one. Talk about the savagery of war. Yeah, they just did a great job. So that's my addition to the conversation of the top three. What other ones do you want to throw out on the list? Ironcaster, you were chomping at the bit to throw a few more against the wall. Throw out a couple more that if we had to flush this out, some like 5, 10, whatever, you'd like, this should be listed, this should be listed. And we don't have time to kind of like really do deep commentary, but if you had a few other films that you think are, this is kind of like the best of the best stuff.
Well, one of the ones that was a real surprise hit that turned out way better than I thought it was going to be. One that is certainly not a movie for deep thought. Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe.
Okay.
All right. I don't know that's on a best of list for me, but I understand what you're trying to get at.
It's what I will happily go rewatch again before I go rewatch Thor Love and Thunder. Just rewatching that Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe for the scene alone where the two of them are going into the college and learn about white privilege.
Okay. All right. Loki, you got some others that we can kind of throw into the conversation about our best of list kind of thing from a movie standpoint?
I do. And that movie is The Northman.
Yeah.
So
a lot of fans of The Northman out there for sure.
There are a lot of fans of The Northman. You've got Alexander Skarsgård, who does an absolutely wonderful job in this. Nicole Kidman. You've got an absolute stellar cast. You've got Ethan Hawke. Some great people made this movie, and you can tell it had a lot of heart and a lot of emotion. And it's in another way. We were talking about father and son stories earlier today. It's in a way, it's a father and son story. It's a family story.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. There was a great comment earlier about Smile. I have not seen that. A lot of people also love that, and they praise it as their best horror film of the year, those kinds of things. All I can tell you is that I really like Black Phone. I'm telling you, this Pinocchio thing that Guillermo del Toro did is an Oscar winner. I mean, it is an incredibly bizarre take on like the original book, the original, the Adventures of the Puppet type book. Like it is weird and whatever. So I don't know that Disney people are gonna like and get it, but I love it. It's incredible, and it's done like that whole animated stop motion stuff, which takes you right back to the OG stuff that we all love. So that's some of the stuff that I can compare and contrast that and kick off our worst of list as we go around to some of the worst movies and contrast that to the Disney live action Pinocchio, which literally there's a spot in the film where Pinocchio stops dumbfounded while he's looking at like crap on the road. And I'm like, it's quite the metaphor that you do this actually in the film. It's such a garbage film on a beloved classic. It's just embarrassing at every level, and then to be shown up this late in the game by this Del Toro adaptation is the best. It's like, sweetness. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. So, Ironcaster, let's go back to you. What is some of the worst, or one of the worst ones that you'd want to make sure we included on the list?
Thor: Love and Thunder, easy. It was the movie. I saw that. I threw my hands up and said, no, I am done. I am not going to see any more of these MCU films. I'm done. We're done. We're walking away. I don't care what they do to Doctor Strange. I don't care what they do to Thor anymore. I don't care what they do to freaking Spider-Man anymore. I'm not going to movie theaters. I'm not watching any more of these. I'm done.
I'm with you. I understand. Loki, what about you?
Uncharted. Okay, so
Oh, wow.
I was
Okay.
a huge Uncharted fan. I loved those games, man. I got lost. That second game, I got lost in that second game. The third game, I mean, they're almost all of them are good. But that second game was just gold. And I remember playing the hell out of that and getting absolutely baked on my couch playing that game and just losing time. You lose hours of your life going into that game. And then they just shit on it, and they shit on the lore, kind of like what they did with Halo. And you're just like, yeah, you know what? You get what you deserve. Oh, well, it's just another video game adaptation. It only made $140 million. It could have been great. It could have been absolutely epic if it was cast right, if it was written right, if they bothered caring about it one iota. It could have been great. And instead, this is just a quick, oh, well, we've got to deal with Sony to come out with so many of these movies a year. So we're going to make so many game movies a year. This is one of them. We'll get the people to come in, and we'll get people for the roles, but we don't really give a shit about being accurate or being right. And some people thumb their noses at that. You know what? Let them eat failure. Let them absolutely eat failure.
Yeah. Bobby asked about Pauly Shore's Pinocchio film. I have no idea what that is. I really don't even know. So I'll take a hard pass on whatever that is with Pauly Shore in it. So it will come back. Chris will come back. As far as worst movies, there are so many that are not sort of in our genre film category that I would put in this list, from films like Don't Worry, Darling, and Not Okay, and The Independent. The worst one for me is called the 355. It's an all-female actioner, and my review stops at about 45 minutes in the film because I says, this is so bad, there's no reason for me to carry on. You know how YouTubers get criticized for criticizing a movie they didn't actually watch? Oh, no, I tried to watch, and literally it had me stop. It was literally in the same category as this guy's Tubi recommendation, which, stopped me hardcore. Like, I'm not going on. It literally is just so bad with these big name actors, actresses, and I'm supposed to take this movie seriously, and it's that bad. So I can easily go on with a bad list. My notes on good list was pretty short, and then my note on bad, I could probably have 20. Like, it was just, It was really easy to come up with, like, and a really bad. And what's weird, and this is the last thing I want to do before we leave movies behind, isn't it unnerving when you have people who might even respect a little bit do like a best of list, and they have films that are on that crap list for you? You're like, what did you see? Like, I don't get it. Like, it's so weird to me. Loki, do you get that? You get that, like, list, like, for people going off on their best list, and you're like, that movie was dog crap.
Oh, absolutely. I saw someone praising Halloween Ends the other day, and I want to tell you something.
Oh my God.
There's no worse offender of ending a trilogy in failure this year than Halloween Ends, because those first two movies, you know what? You can say what you want about the first movie. They were setting things up. It still had some of the best, goriest, nastiest. I'm gonna split you in half and leave you on a bathroom floor with your teeth falling out moments in slasher movie history. The second was absolutely insane. And if it hadn't have been for Jamie Lee Curtis running her mouth about the hospital scene and comparing it to, oh, well, we put that in there because of January 6th, when it had already been filmed before that. It was just her talking out of her ass. You have some of the greatest kills, some of the best moments. You've got Michael Myers tearing it apart left and right. And then they bring him back as this like lung cancer patient that can't kill anything, just so Jamie Lee Curtis can kill him. mean, that's
But they don't
pretty
have any
much
explanation of any of these
no,
things. Like it's so
no.
badly done. It's just yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I said that would be part of the reason too. Is like you said, it just like it kills the momentum because Halloween Kills has its own set of issues, and I couldn't agree more with people who don't like that film, and it does not hold up well. Like you talk about a film that maybe you like when you first watch it, you watch it again. Each time you watch it, you're going to hate it more and more. Just
No, I don't
testimony.
get. I had the same problem with Logan. I couldn't stand huffy puffy Wolverine that could barely breathe and couldn't run like a quarter mile without being like. I had the exact same problem with Logan. So I compare those two films like they're right next to each other because that's the way I see it. So disagree with me, agree with me, whatever.
No, Ironcaster, some other worst movies or thoughts on people having lists and they kind of shock you on your list. Like there's a notable person in kind of the fandom that we kind of subscribe to who put like their best of list included things like Prey, and I'm like, you are really reading into that film's positives to look past all of its shortcomings. Like, holy crap, that's a crazy perspective on that film. Like, there's a lot of that kind of stuff going around with some of these best of lists and good movies of the year kind of thing.
Well, I mean, on the subject of Prey, it wasn't the worst movie I've seen. I mean, this year has certainly shown that there are a lot worse ones out there. It was like a 6. I just kind of in hindsight, it's like a 6.5, 7. I'm like, it's okay. The tomahawk with the rope on it is silly, but it didn't offend my morals ultimately.
Yeah, we had a pretty extensive breakdown on that. I think we stand all about the same. Where it's the middle end of the road is on the high end. ZBR adds Wakanda Forever, and talk about a movie that broke me. ZBR talk about a movie of just stupidity on top of stupidity. I forgot to check today to see if my video was ever released because we did a live stream on that and they took it down. That's been in copyright flag in review for a month, so we'll see. And Ironcaster, they wanted to know about your Marvel objection. Is that do you have any curiosity left of Guardians 3?
I mean, as much as I would like to see Guardians 3, with James Gunn leaving, like, I feel like the best is kind of behind us. So this is kind of going to be the farewell to all that. And like, we're setting up more movies down the road that where James Gunn won't be there, where half this cast is presumably not going to be there. I mean, they're certainly don't want to keep paying Chris Pratt.
They're not under contract. Yeah.
Right. So it's like,
no, I couldn't agree. I saw that trailer when it's like, all I saw was Zootopia. I just can't get past it. I'm like, I can't do it. It's crazy.
Oh, so much so I haven't even bothered to watch the trailer. I have no interest in watching a Guardians 3. I'm more curious to see what James Gunn is going to do over at DC.
Yeah.
Can I bring up one more movie before we move on?
Let's do an extension of what you said, because Chris Perch is agreeing with you about Logan. Said, considering I collected the Old Man Logan comic book, this movie is a major injustice. Amen to that, Chris Persia. Amen to that. And of course, Brandon's piling on with woke kind of for never, and Dean Krantz is popping in here. So hey, you, Dean. Go ahead, Loki.
I think a lot of people have forgotten about this. That this came out this year, but Matrix. The Matrix Resurrection made $33 million domestically. You want to talk about one of the biggest absolute bombs of the year. And they even talk about in the movie not bringing it back, but having absolutely no choice because, the corporations control everything and it's up to them now. I thought, and even Keanu Reeves is sitting there in their own movies, and I thought they couldn't do that. And it's just, you want to talk about an absolute shit show. You want to talk about jumping the shark. This was one of the biggest trilogies of the modern era. And they convoluted it and screwed it up because they're greedy little bitches that have no idea how to run a franchise anymore.
Yeah, Ryan is trying to promote the Gunverse, aka the DCFU. Good luck, Ryan. Right now, I'm not really that interested. I'm kind of off the train right now until proven otherwise. Dean also says, my opinion and worth what you pay for it. MCU and DCEU have well and truly jumped the shark. My standout film of the year, though, has to be Samaritan. Oh, interesting choice, Dean. I would not agree there, but hey, to each their own. Yeah, I did not care for Samaritan that much, to be honest. Phil, TMT, TMNT is here. Awesome. And Whitechapel calls that Loki mass desecration. Yeah, we all agree with that. It was a huge letdown. What a huge freaking letdown. So, all right. So let's do some best of TV. So, Loki, I'll tee it up for you of what you think if we had to like do best of TV shows. And not in Halo notwithstanding, we already discussed how much we love Halo. We have a special affinity for Halo because of our origin.
Brought us all together.
Take Halo off the table.
Yeah, I'm gonna open things up with Stranger Things season 4. I thought it was absolutely killer. I love the scene on the RV where he's playing Master of Puppets. That kid was absolutely awesome. The kids in that show did an absolutely excellent job. I love the new kid that's the surfboard pizza delivery guy. He's like, whoa, that's like totally cool, man. I'm like, yeah, that's my spirit animal right there. That's my boy. So
Argyle.
Absolutely.
That's great.
Yeah, Argyle. God help me, man. That kid's my spirit animal from when I was that age. Dude, I thought it was fun. It was fun. It was entertaining. It was you had fun. You had a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun getting to watch that. So
you should share out your dive deeps on that, because you did some Friday show or some shows where you just did Stranger Things for an hour a couple times, and you should share those out again, because it deserves as much eyes on it. We need to encourage, again, people have asked why I review some of this other dog crap, by the way. And my strategy is a little different than some other people. My strategy is when they actually do something right, I try to draw attention to it, because hopefully they'll figure out the conditioning of why people will see certain things or won't see certain things. And with Stranger Things, it needs a lot of attention. It needs a lot more attention. And they're definitely, Chris is agreeing about Matrix, by the way, being a boondoggle, and Brandon's echoing your sentiment, Loki, earlier about Northman. And ZBR says, Matrix so bad I legitimately forgot it existed until you mentioned it. Yeah, I know. That's how Loki started, Zombie. Yeah, I agree. So
yeah, some people might not remember this.
I had completely forgot that was a thing.
It was in theaters this year.
I also like Only Murders in the Building as a second to Stranger Things. Adego, is that on Netflix? You guys know? I don't know where that is. What is that?
I've never heard of that.
You know what that is? No, I don't know either. So,
I'll ask him about it Thursday.
All right, so yeah, Loki. It's a great choice. A great choice. Okay, Ironcaster. Let's throw something out there. Good show. You really enjoyed. Top of the list kind of stuff for you.
Well, I do want to point out real quick. Brandon, the anime guy in the chat, who has been doing that for anime like all year long. He's been just spouting off series after series, and one of the shows that he pointed out to me that I started watching, I'm enjoying, is a remake of the series Urusei Yatsura, which is it's a bit of an older anime that was done by Rumika Takahashi, one of the longest running female manga creators in Japan. The woman has been a workhorse for like 40 years.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome.
And
that's awesome.
Just in terms of the color palette alone, is such a refreshing sight to see. I absolutely adore it.
Well, the thing I love about Brandon, if you're not subscribed, guys, you got to be connected, because he can talk down to a normie like me. He can give you like 101 episodes. He can give you like, this one's really good. And he gives you a little bit of everything. So kudos to him. Dean is throwing out Reacher, Stranger Things, and Rogue Heroes. So good list. I'm gonna go outside of our genre a little bit. I've been doing Tulsa King. I'm going to have it as a soft recommend. It's not as high as I told Loki I thought it could be because of the creators. This is literally the Sopranos and the Boardwalk Empire guys. I feel like this is probably airing on television because it seems like it's going a little bit soft, but it's not bad. I have to go back. I've said it several times. The Offer. I think was just a home run for me. It's a film nerd type show. I get it. Not for everybody, but it's about the making of The Godfather, the behind the scenes stuff with this producer and how he's trying to pull this off and get, selling them on Coppola, selling them on Pacino, selling them on all this stuff. It's a very fun reenactment of all of that, even though there's a lot of creative liberties, of course, taken. And I will also say I have a little feather in my cap because several YouTubers totally got wrong some of the historical accuracies because it comes across as being woke or strong female. In fact, that's a real person that actually existed and did some of these things. And it's a shame that she's not here. She's long passed because it really would have elevated her star status, so to speak. Let's see. Okay, that show's on Hulu. I think that's the one that Odega was talking about. Okay, I'll have to check that out. So cool. Dean saying one of those is on Apple. Okay. Cool,
Did you watch the latest episode of Tulsa King?
Yeah.
You know the blonde at the coffee house?
The coffee house. Oh, the one that he hires.
The one that he hires. That's his
Spencer.
daughter. That's his daughter.
Oh, that's Little Stallone. Okay.
Little Stallone. I was like, God help me, son.
Yeah,
Jesus.
She's something. All right, so let's throw. Let's go back around again. Another should we go? Yeah, let's do another round of really good because I want to really talk about some really good shows because there are a lot of really good shows, and even if they're not, it's hard when I say really good because for a show there can be elements that are positive and negative. I'm going to cheat because I want to make sure I get this one. I am blown away by how good Wednesday is on Netflix. I don't know if you guys have heard that. Joker Voice and then Saggy Melons both turned me on to Wednesday. It is clean enough for kids in the sense that it's adapting an Addams Family content. In other words, Addams Family was like this rated, safe type of content with all of its, kooky and quirky and all that stuff that you get. And when it was announced, Tim Burton, I thought, I'm not interested. And they've ramped it up. And I have to admit, it is sort of like Nancy Drew with a little bit of Harry Potter and a little bit of this. And the actress deserves any and every accolade she gets. She owns Wednesday Addams at like a next level. It is so entertaining. It's every show is going to have I called it my filler episode. There's literally a filler episode. There's some, but it was a fun show. It's really good. And so that's going to be my other one I would throw on the positive list. So what about you, Ironcaster? You got another positive one you want to throw on the list? One that was a bit of a sleep. One that really hasn't been talked about, but I feel does deserve a bit more attention. Ultraman. Oh yeah, you hooked me on that. That was really good. I was really loving that. I think I'm gonna start back at the beginning, watch it, and maybe do some videos because I loved it. Which, if I don't know if you know anything about it, Loki.
Yeah, I know Ultraman. I used to watch it when I was a kid, and I had the video game on Super Nintendo and all that stuff. Yeah.
Have you by chance seen the Netflix series?
No, I have not.
Oh, do yourself a favor and check that out.
Okay.
It's a bit it's kind of like if
it's a continuation of the story. I feel like it's a believable way that the story still exists. Like I was hooked into like, holy crap, they're not crapping on the old stuff. They're like, okay, well here's a way this stuff kind of still goes on. You're like, this is really fun. I'm enjoying this.
It's like if Danny Rand was given an Iron Man suit and his dad was the previous Iron Man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really, really cool. Several people are mentioning Reacher. Did either of you watch Reacher? I did not watch Reacher.
I did. It was. I thought it was okay.
Terminal List. That was another one that was brought up. You guys.
It was. I thought it was okay.
I didn't
think there was anything. I didn't have anything negative to say about it.
Right. They're really good. They're okay. They're solid. Those kinds.
Can I bring one up that I think really?
Let me throw Brandon here too. He just says My Hero Academia season 6 is also top shelf. So go ahead.
Yep, that's been really.
I think one of the biggest comeback stories. Okay, I love a good comeback story. Who doesn't like a good comeback story, where someone has royally screwed up comes back to surprise you and make something really good? House of the Dragon, I thought absolutely rocked this year on HBO Max. You want to talk about a comeback story from those last couple of seasons of Game of Thrones that were just so horrible and so bad. And you know, Dan and Dave completely bottomed out that the last 2 seasons of that show and then blamed it on every single one of us. We were the problem. Our TVs weren't synced right, and we had changed our settings, and our 4K TVs weren't good enough anymore. All this bullcrap about how it's all our fault, and we're the problem. We're the problem, and it's all our fault. And then they come back and they make something like this, and I just got to say, Matt Smith absolutely knocked it out of the park. That show was awesome. The show was, that first season was absolutely awesome. And I really, really hope they stick to the source material and they stick to the books and do it justice. I really hope they do. I want to see that bitch get eaten right in front of her whole family. I want to see her get eaten. And I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm excited. What a comeback to her. What a freaking comeback to her.
Yeah, Zombie is agreeing with House of Dragons and Wednesday as well. And I will say we can juxtapose this against Ring of Power, which I did not waste a minute of. Well, I guess I technically wasted about a minute and a half with the whole paper boat throwing the rock scene, and I was like, well, consider what everyone else has said, and I'm already not interested like at all. I've never watched a minute of it beyond that. So, isn't Ring of Power's Loki possibly one of the biggest failures imaginable? Like, it's so bad that I don't know anyone who's not truly in the shill media circle that said positive things about this show.
No, and I want to say something. I'm very close to a couple of people that like a lot of the woke stuff that's out there. They liked the Batman. They like, and that's their choice, guys. You know, if they want to like this stuff, then they absolutely could not stand that show. Absolutely could not stand the show. Then or to the point that they went back and started reading the Silmarillion and things they had never read, just to get an idea of what Tolkien was trying to convey, because they knew it was just so bad, it was bullshit. So,
yeah. And Chris is pointing out that they wanted all these awards. It didn't get a single nomination so far. Like, that's getting shut out. So there's tons of other recommendations there in chat, folks. If you're not checking out live chat, make sure you're turning that on so you can see some of these other recommendations. We can't get to every single thing. There's just too much great stuff being thrown out there. So, Ironcaster, I know we've only scratched the surface of your love of Marvel. I mean, I know you've been real vocal about where you are. What is one of the worst of shows? It's like teeing up a softball for you that's about that big that you're just like, yeah, this is on my list.
Well, the problem is a lot of the bad stuff I just outright avoid, and I'm like, I'm not going to hate watches. I'm not going to dedicate my time to this stuff. There was no way in hell I was going to be watching any of like the Captain America or any of those. But the biggest disappointment I had for shows that I remember watching aside from Halo was like Book of Boba Fett.
Okay. I thought you were going to go She-Hulk. I'm sorry. I didn't know. I thought you were going to go She-Hulk.
No, I couldn't do that to myself. Like,
oh yeah, I did. It was bad.
I see during all that time, the time all that was airing, I was over watching a bunch of the tokusatsu, the Japanese superhero stuff, and it is just night and day comparison. Like watching these videos of the She-Hulk twerking, and then like the same week that comes out, the first episode of the current series, Kamen Rider Geats, comes out, and it is just action all over the place, explosions, cool posing. It is everything that these superhero shows should be. So I'm gonna kind of step aside and point out that if you could find it, if you can get a hold of it, Kamen Rider Geats is a phenomenal series to get into if you want some actual superhero stuff.
Yeah. And again, this is to me what makes Ring of Power even worse, because it's being released simultaneously to House of Dragons. So every week you could kind of see someone who wasn't watching one of them. And I was just kind of, I have no skin in the game. I haven't read enough material. I don't feel like I'm an expert in Tolkien lore or anything like that. So I was more like an observer, and to watch all of the reactions to everything, it made things to me worse for Ring of Power, because every week they're being shown up by the competitor. It sounds like that's how you felt about She. Now I did do the I watch it so you don't have to She-Hulk. So if anybody wants to know how bad She-Hulk is, feel free to turn into the old man who because I wanted to make sure that I was trying to give a fair analysis, because I was one of the few people who watched episode 1. I said, well, if she's this awful of a human in episode 1 and she has a story arc and gets better, that's one thing. Obviously never that ever happened. So Bifer is here. Hey to you, my friend. So is anybody going to watch Loki season 2? I'm thinking that I will probably watch it because somebody has to. So I will watch it so you don't have to. Yeah.
Well, the interesting thing with Loki, I have a coworker I was talking with about it, and him and his girlfriend were watching it, and they're really into looking into a lot of old history. So they're looking into some of the Sumerian stuff. They're looking into a lot of these other like really obscure text. And he was telling me how some of the stuff they were putting into that, he actually really liked the show because it was reflecting stuff from like Bathsheba and a lot of really obscure things I really didn't know much about. But
historical references, that's no substitute for a lack of a story.
Yeah, that's a bit of a problem.
I agree. Going to Pompeii was cool, but I don't care because it didn't have any stakes. So
I was surprised to find someone who liked it for. I was surprised to ultimately find someone who liked it for what he was looking into, and this is a guy who's does look into a lot of subtext and that, and he looks past the story.
Krampus Jeebus popped in. So did Zax. Hey, Zax. Hope you're doing well. And before I get to Loki, to throw some more on the list, before we go back around, again, for any of you members that are out there, if you're not a member, you want to consider being a member. Our final member stream will be tomorrow night. I'll start about 5 p.m. Eastern time. We'll see how long I last. Obviously, you can tell from my voice, I'm not holding up particularly great, but my plan was to go at least 3 hours. I can have a chance to come in here and throw some topics around, have some fun. So we'll be doing that. Okay, Loki. Other good, bad shows, thoughts on where we are, that Rakabi arena thing.
Your robot. Is that me or is that
burn on me? I'm not sure anybody can hear.
It's Pops. I can hear him. I can hear you fine, Loki.
Okay. I didn't know if it was me or I think I got what you're saying. Good or bad? Any more good or bad shows? We got to bring up Halo. We got to talk about Halo because if it wasn't for Halo, we wouldn't be sitting here doing this right now. So, I mean, I feel like I got to bring up Halo, and we got to talk about Halo just a little bit. Strawberry Spartan and
not Dave
Chappelle. the master, not Dave Chappelle and Hot Pocket and the rest of the cast that brought us together to be the guys we are today.
It's so funny. It's like that show on its own is bad, but it was us kind of laughing about it and having the fun made it really work. Was us giving them nicknames and kind of working out our own stories. Loki, the video you had of the bad haircut girl just screaming in the desert.
Yeah.
I think I got that saved somewhere.
I do. I've got that.
Oh, for those of you who don't know what we're talking about. Oh, by the way, so here we go. For those of you who didn't know, here we go. It never really gets old. It never gets old. Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned,
this show was so. I didn't throw it out there as one of the best, but there is an Indian film that would be kind of like down that list, but will be on some people's list who are really into Indian cinema, and it was called Kantara, and it was made for like less than $2 million over there. When you see the scale of this film and what they were able to do, you start to like have, even to me, I have more anger towards something like that. Like I'm like, you guys didn't even try with this show. It was so disgusting. Blah blah. I know. So, yeah, I don't understand. Halo's a painful topic. The only positive is they brought us together. It kicked off our partnership. It kicked off Talk Hard, and it made the world better for me week to week. That's for sure.
That's right.
Yeah, because our commentaries felt very Mystery Science Theater, and once we started figuring out how to, like, everybody had a nickname, I started to lose track of what their actual character names were. Like, it was actually like a better show for me, because then it was just Miss Mullet and Strawberry Spartan and Not John, and it was like, okay, yeah, I mean, it was like that was more, I had,
How can the two top people that are supposed to be, I mean, the two leads in the show should be Master Chief, not John, Master Chief, and Cortana. And we nicknamed them both not Chief and not Cortana.
Well, I thought also Master Chef was also another good one.
Yeah, it was Karen Tana. If you remember, Karen Tana was her. She was just this nasty, witchy. Yeah, it's unbearably. That show is just it is incredibly bad. It's one of the things too. It's like, because it came out like in March. You get to March through May or whatever. It's so long ago, like it deadens the pain. It's like kind of what happened when you brought up Matrix and things like that. It's like it happened so long ago. It sort of like doesn't make the list because people have kind of like forgotten about it. But that's another reason why it's so disposable. It's like no one cares. It's gone. It's over. It's done.
And ultimately, it's like I'm looking down a list of all the films that came out this year, and I am remembering so many of them now. Like, oh, that's right, there was the Kevin Bacon movie, They/Them. Like, yep. I totally forgot that was a thing. Yep. As I'm going down this list, like so many of these that were just like had no impact, have had nothing happen, really relevance, that we're all the talk for a hot minute, but nobody remembers. Like, I totally forgot Sneakerella was a movie that existed.
There's going to be a decade. There's going to be a decade of film that just disappears because no one's going to remember it. No one's going to watch it. No one's going to look it up, and no one's going to care because it's just disposable. It's if you did see it, you probably aren't going to remember it and didn't mean anything to you. What the hell does it matter anyway?
Yeah, we're going to refer to this as the content era. It's just disposable, fill in the streaming services nonsense. And Whitechapel brings up a good point. Cowboy Bebop also came out this year. That's like one of those, as well as, if you remember, also the horrible He-Man series, which was really about Tila, right? That also came out this year. So there has been some like total dog crap things. Like I can't get our head around. It's crazy.
It's going to be a dead decade.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. Bobby's bringing up that Carl Urban kept his helmet on. Yeah. It's such a contrived nonsense. None of us have any patience for that kind of thing. Jacob Ironside's also popping in here as well. Hey to you, brother. All right. So we kind of went through some movies. We went through some TV, those kinds of things. Let me go to other arenas of pop culture and stuff like that for you guys. I'm going to start only because I have no real skin in the game. But I can tell you from a cultural point, Elden Ring was a really big deal this year. It's sort of like been forgotten because it kind of came and did its thing. But when I first really kind of got serious into this, I know I had T-Shirt Historian on. We talked about it briefly. And it bled over into like a New York Times article. It bled over into some other stuff. And that's really pretty rare for something as nuanced in the gaming arena. So, anything else you want to throw into the conversation about pop culture and such, Loki?
As far as video games go, oh hell yeah, we've had a crazy year, especially with a Warhammer coming out, God of War. God, man, Christopher Judge is Kratos. If anybody's gonna argue that, I don't give a shit. If he came out with a shirt that said love woke culture, as long as he keeps voicing Kratos the way he does, and come here, boy, I'm behind him 100%. I don't give a shit what the guy says. As long as he makes great stuff, I'm with it. I don't care what these businesses say, as long as they make great content. That is the point of all of this, is making great games, making great movies. If you're not into that, don't make them. If you're not into making something badass and completely 100% authentic and kicking ass, taking names, taking babies' lollipops, get out of the damn business, because there's other people that do. Same thing goes with video games. Same thing that goes with content creation. Same thing that goes with all of it. If you're going to be a whiny little bitch, saw it off and make room for the people that want to be here and want to do this.
But Loki, we could always go and have another Saints Row instead.
Fuck that.
Adega
Sorry
says
for the F-bomb.
It'll turn around when they start making his stuff. I'm like, don't agree until you feel confident. So, what about you, Ironcaster? What else you want to throw against the wall? It's sort of like the pop culture arena, particularly, you guys are more gaming experts than I would ever pretend to be, let alone,
Well, I would say that if there's any one property that sort of encompasses so many different realms of pop culture that was big this year, Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk Edge Runner, the anime, the Netflix series, was able to effectively just totally jumpstart the popularity and talk and buzz all around the 2077 video game. It was to the point where it took me a month to get a copy of the new role-playing game. Like, Amazon was backlogged. It would have been 30 days. I had to order a copy from Poland. That was like, I was scrounging around trying to find a copy of this RPG book anywhere. It took me so long to find it. And when that series dropped, the game, which had been out since like 2021, had jump started back up the Steam charts. It was crazy just how much that anime saved that property.
And it really does go to show you these companies need to finish what they're doing before they come out with it.
Yes.
Callisto Protocol has the exact same problem. It was not ready to be released. It was not finished. They were not done yet. They had kill animations they sold as DLC on the side. Their shit wasn't ready yet. And when these games come out and they're not ready, all it does is put a bad taste in everybody's mouth. I still have not gone back. I've had Cyberpunk on PC. I've had it all this time since release, and I still haven't gone back to it. For a while, I couldn't even get the game to start. It wouldn't even start. A year ago today, that game wouldn't even start. I removed it from my system, reinstalled it, wouldn't start. Do you know what I had to do to get that game to start? I had to bypass Steam completely and go in and load the EXE in my directory to load the damn game. And to this day, it's still stuck like that. It won't load through Steam, but it'll load if I go into the damn directory and load it, it'll load that way. But I still haven't really gone in and played it. I've created a character here and there to see if was anything different in the beginning or anything. And it's all still the same. So you get behind the wheel of the car, and the car's still janky as shit. So there's aspects of that game that are never going to work right, that are never going to be right. And they just, what they did? They said, screw it, just release it. Screw it, just release it. We'll take the ass pounding, and then after that, we'll try and fix it as best we can.
Yeah, which is unfortunate because I was playing with it modded the other day, and I got to tell you, running around with my female V with Alita's arms from Battle Angel is pretty fun. I'll see if I can find a screenshot for you. But I'm starting to encounter some bugs with that myself as well, so it's getting to be a problem for me to be able to play it.
We can't circle back to positive things. It's always great to hear this, right? Christopher Jett said he wants to play Kratos in a movie. So it's like, it becomes like the thing the fans want, that kind of thing. So, yeah. And there a lot of Soul Assassin is also echoing what you're saying. And Dega says, I want to see Cyberpunk, but I'm not going to sub Netflix. The pirate ship I sail can't reach it. All right. Well, I know a guy.
And I don't know why, Adega, I don't know why, because I sail that same sea, brother. I don't know why it's not on there. I don't know why. It's really weird because usually everything is on there. Hell, Avatar 2 is on there already. Yeah. So you can go on there and watch Avatar 2 already, but you can't see Cyberpunk. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, a lot of people like Zach's is saying he didn't go back to Cyberpunk, and yeah, it's been a really interesting journey to be kind of like in the YouTube sphere, if you will, doing this kind of stuff and paying sort of like real nuanced attention, week to week, weeks become months, those kinds of things. So before we kind of leave the topic completely, let's talk about our journey together. Is there a sort of like a best of moment, a best of talk hard, or something like that? That you guys, if we created a list or some like moments, you're like, holy crap, this was cool, special, fun, whatever. Anything in particular that you guys want to throw out there?
I would say just us getting a chance to talk with the director from Tremors.
Oh, Ron Underwood.
That was
yeah.
big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. That was a real cool experience. He was so chill too, wasn't he? He was just like totally cool, just hanging out. And yeah, if I'd probably screened it better, I might be able to keep it longer. But he was super cool to chill out with. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think at first he said he could only stay for about an hour. Then he wound up staying for like 2. So
yeah,
it worked out.
Yeah. It was great. What about you, Loki?
Getting to spend this time with you guys, getting to know you, Pops, getting to know Ironcaster. Ironcaster's love of shitty B shark movies. God help me. Him and Eris. I don't know what the thing is with these guys, but him and Eris just like 2 peas in a pod. Ironcaster sent me a little box for Christmas that included a megalodon ornament, megalodon jaw ornament with the teeth, and I immediately was like, "Well, you've got your shark ornament, sweetheart, direct from Ironcaster." Getting to hang out with you guys and getting to share this with you, this has been the best. This has been the best time I could have had. So.
Well, on that note, it's only fitting that we pay a little tribute here. So let's do that first.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah. So yeah, Austin was talking about how much he loved the Halo because we were just so disappointed. We were all freaking out. So that kind of thing. So Krampus said he worked with Ron Underwood on Mighty Joe Young. Yeah. All right. We talked about Mighty Joe and some other stuff there. So the one thing I go back to, and I always, again, there's not going to be a best of these kind of clips, but whenever the guy below us gets really worked up and starts dropping multiple F-bombs in the middle of a rant and then has a little Tylenol break and goes, sorry, Pops. And it's just like, you get like the raw reaction of somebody who's passionate and loves something. And that's what I cherish most about doing that. And I know we don't always go down that road. We don't always have that kind of response. We spent a lot of our time talking about things we love. But there is something that, I was able to get my hands on pretty quickly to realize how passionate the 3 of us were about wanting good stuff. Like, we really don't have much patience for how we feel basically taken advantage of. I feel very violated. Like, you're violating my fandom. You're violating my love. You're violating my money. You're just, everything about it is something I feel strongly about. And that was something that was really fun early on. And it was good. It started with Halo, but of course it didn't stop there. We had a lot of fun with like others.
Yeah, there's only a finite amount of time we have. So it's like, why am I gonna spend all my time hate watching shows I'm not gonna like? When there are bad movies that still have some good elements in them that we could be enjoying.
Comes from the man who got us to watch Shark Side of the Moon, people. Just so we're all well documented, well versed in what actually happened here. So
it's not all shark movies. Like, I'm not even like big on shark movies. It's just I keep finding like bad movie names, and they just, a lot of them happen to be about sharks. I just found one this weekend that has no sharks.
Oh, okay.
Kung Fu and Titties.
Kung Fu and Titties.
Yes,
I'm down with that.
I don't even know what to say.
I saw the poster. I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be a pile of crap. Let's go. I gotta check this out.
Why are you not doing reviews on literally like the schlock stuff? Just make a schlock playlist from Ironcaster who just even if you just talk for 2 or 3 minutes like Ryan does, do a short video and just that kind of thing.
I need to.
So.
I need to do this, and I think that's gonna be one of the projects for for the new year is just putting out little videos about some of the crap I find.
Whatever you do, it doesn't matter about just schlock. Just in general, just make playlists and just let it all just pile up. It'll eventually just become more content than you realize. So, Zach's asking, and this is probably for Loki more than me because I did not watch Ring of Power. Halo or Ring of Power?
Oh shit. God help me. If I was being forced to watch one of them, Halo. I love Halo, and it is sacrilege what they did to Halo. But I love Lord of the Rings and I love Tolkien. And I've been reading Tolkien since I was a little Loki. And so there's a lot of love and care that needs to go into I didn't know if I was going to like Fellowship or not. I really didn't. I took a chance and I went and saw it. And I was like, okay, Peter, I'm going to take a chance on you that you made a good movie. And I absolutely loved it. So, yeah, I would rather watch Halo and watch my beloved Chief and Cortana get absolutely screwed 9 ways from Friday and have to deal with Hot Pocket and Strawberry Spartan than deal with freaking Wings of Power. No.
You know, I was sitting here trying to while I was going, I was like trying to come up with a list of like alternate names for some of these characters, and Hot Pocket looked like that Megan Roanoke or whatever, Rapinoe or whatever the female soccer player was. It's like they just cast her.
Yeah.
But the nice thing was, like, again, with that, we were able to laugh about it the whole time. So it became, okay, what's the next thing going to be? They started like naming the guys for us. Like they call a guy in the show Squirrel. It's like they knew we were going to be, they knew we weren't going to remember whatever names they gave these characters. So let's just start naming them for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so much of that show is just, I remember moments, but that's been about it. But yeah, it's, I can't see myself going and watching Rings of Power. In fact, I actually busted out my audiobooks and I started going through the Silmarillion instead. Finally, I figured, you know, what the heck, I'll go through this. I might as well see how some of the other books are. Which is taking me down a whole rabbit hole of other fantasy novels and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Silmarillion's great. I know some people have a hard time getting through it. When I was a kid, the easiest way I found of getting through it was writing the characters down. Who's who?
So Loki did book reports for fun.
Yeah, Loki did book reports for fun back in the day.
No,
I was a nerd. I was a little nerd. It wasn't until the next year. It wasn't until the year after that, because I did that in 6th grade. I basically did. I did The Hobbit. I did Lord of the Rings. I did all of that in the 6th grade. That's when I started that. It wasn't until later that I started playing football and kind of like priorities shifted. But yeah, I'm a damn nerd.
All right, so let's.
I'm just a 6'3" nerd.
6'3" nerd. All right. So yeah, we talked about Cyberpunk. We did talk about Matrix as well. Soul Assassin. Yeah. ZBR says never release a half a finished product. Yeah, we all agree with that for sure. I think we're all, let's see here. Make sure I didn't miss anything else that was important. Major Hot Pocket. Yeah. Awesome Windows. Hot Pocket. They made Sauron likable. I ended up rooting for the guy. Laugh out loud. Yeah, I know. The stuff I heard was just insane. So, yeah, awesome. So, well, guys, it was a crazy year. We're going to start off next year on January the 3rd. Will be our next show. We'll do a replay next week. I've learned that if I do those and do them on like a premiere, it is usually kind of fun to see people enjoy some content they hadn't seen before. I know we've done a couple, that kind of thing. And I will say, give you guys credit for the amount of recommendations. I should wait before I do that. Let me say one more thing. One of the coolest things about Talk Hard has been chat, because they literally memed in real time Loki Zardoz, Sharkcaster in the corn, right? I have an AC/DC Talk Hard high voltage photo now to make a poster out of. I mean, it's just the stuff that you guys do. You make this so much fun. Chris Persia, you are a rock star. I know Steven Ransom is not here, or if he is, he's not saying anything. Rock stars. You guys, I mean, it is so much more fun to have that type of relationship with you guys. Whether you do it here or not, just do it. Have fun with people. Find people that want to have fun like that, because it is insanely rewarding to do stuff like that. It means the world to me. I mean, I know Loki kind of always just kind of laughs like, holy crap, what is that? I'm like, yeah, I know. I made it worse. Because I still have the images and stuff.
As soon as I got that Sharkcaster came in, I was like showing that thing off with pride to people, like showing off, like, look what people are doing to me on the internet. I love the internet.
Yeah, you've been mean. It's so great. It's incredible. Chris Persia is just, I mean, he is just a boss. Chris has he has helped me out so much with thumbnails. Just there was a whole week where he just took care of like 2 or 3 weeks for me, because he knew I had crazy stuff going on, and it just means so much to us on this side of the microphone to be able to have that kind of relationship with you guys. And it means the world to us. That's all. And I just want to say that too, because I want to say I'm new to this, but I can tell you from my past working in more of hard news, and like, those people are not about helping you. Everyone's against you. Everyone treats you like a competitor. It is not a healthy scene. And I know that so much more now. And maybe I'm just lucky that I've lucked into a lot of wonderful folks like you guys and the people in chat. But yeah, I can tell you horror stories, not stories of positive memes, so to speak. So, all right. Any other thoughts on 2022 before we start to go into my box opening? Because I want to make sure I fit that in for Whitechapel, because he surprised me with this box. I want to make sure I check that out.
I wish I could find a list of like shows that released, much like I can for Wikipedia, on much like for like movies, like, so I can look and see like, Matrix opened this weekend, Thor opened that weekend, RRR opened this, just like I can't find anything like that for like streaming shows, because so many of them fly under the radar.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any
in one ear out the other.
Yeah, I don't think there's really someone that's I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is something that puts it all together. I don't know of one, but I agree. Yeah. So yeah, no, it's been a great year. It's been a great experience. Learning and growing and doing this, and getting to have people who, partner with me and do this. And the fact that you guys devote, an hour and a half of your time every week, plus the other time where I'm not driving you crazy with messages and other ideas and brainstorming that goes on behind the scenes. And then of course, everything that Chris is doing. Yeah, man, this is a blast. This is just an absolute blast. It's a dream come true. Yeah, somebody said something to my wife, and she goes, yeah, he's living his little fan dream. Like she calls it the pop shop, like the comic book store. It's like the pop shop. It's like, it's like, that's how she joked about it or whatever. So no, I'm not going to stop, Chris. You deserve, I said, he's all shucks. Stop it, guys. Stop with all the praising. I'm going to develop an ego. I don't care. You can have an ego all you want, bro. Just keep being you, man. Just keep being you. So, all right. So we'll see what kind of audio problems, because right now I obviously am having some little roboting issues from time to time. So I'm going to make you guys small or whatever. I don't know what the terminology is anymore.
So I got make you feel better if I roboted with you?
That's Mr. Roboto right there. Is what that was. Thank you, Zombie Box Reviews, because you guys rock. So all I did was cut this. This has a big label on top. Thanks to Whitechapel. This was in my box. It pops on it. Hey, you guys want to send me something? I'll be more than happy to take it. I usually put that in the description. Ooh, my voice. Ooh, that went crazy on me. All right, so well packed, cardboard on top. Way to go. Throw that. Lots of bubble wrap. That's always can never have enough bubble wrap, especially for anybody that deals with comic books. All right, so I got a box of cards, and make sure there's nothing else so I don't drop anything, because I've been known to do that. All right, so we got a box of cards. Okay, well, if you're out there, Whitechapel, I'm really sorry to tell you, I do not have that many of your list. So maybe you'll have to hit me up with something that you may want that I have, because he taped it. Oh crap. I got to figure out how to get into that. All right, hang on here. I'm going to
get the knife.
I don't have the knife handy. I didn't want to. Here we go. Got it. Oh, that was so loud. I'm so sorry.
All right. Here we go. Oh, man. Lenticular. Look at that. Lenticular. Lenticular storm card. Oh. Oh, yeah. Metal. Dark side holograms. I thought you needed one of these. You send me one for. I thought you said you needed one of those. Maybe it's a different one. Oh, look at this. Oh, Jim Lee, baby. Ooh. More flair. Yeah, 1994 Marvel Masterpiece. Hold on. Sorry. Pat S says, nice. All I got was a rock. That's a great reference. That never gets old. Those are all 94 Marvel Masterpiece. Oh my gosh, you give me a Deadpool one? Dude, you could have just kept an extra copy of that. That's a sweet card.
Nice.
Yes. Beast. Lots of X-Men from the 94 series. Colossus, Iceman, Nightcrawler, Beast. Yeah, lots of those. Excuse me, I'm so sorry, guys. Cable. Oh, Ghost Rider. Look, 2099 stuff stinks, but man, there was some cool designs. Yeah, lots of 94. Very nice. Oh, there's a real Ghost Rider. Look at how wicked cool that is. 90s GR is freaking awesome, by the way. Yeah, lots of 94. Very good. Thank you, Whitechapel, on these. Oh man, guys. Oh, he went OG on some fun stuff here. Look. Weird Wendell, GPKs. Oh, I love Trapdora. Look at Trapdora.
Oh no.
Chris Persia, we almost need to make that into some memes, do we not? Or there's a Christmas one, Yule Tide. That's funny. Early Bert, Chop Susie, Ashley to Ashes, Bazooka. All right. Oh man, thank you so much. That's awesome. These are all garbage pail ones. This is freaking great. So thank you. Oh, ZBR says, I'm glad Pops did not keel over after eating the gum from 1979. Yeah. No, didn't kill me. It was rough though. You guys, I don't know if you guys saw that or not. I made a little clip. I don't know if it's published yet or not. I can't remember, but yeah, Black Hole Gum, 1979. I did it. It was rough. It was rough.
Did
So
you at
we'll have
least
to get
chase it
looked.
down with some hot sauce?
Oh,
No,
Lordy.
I had my pepper. You could see me just like, oh yeah. So yeah, it was good. So, well, guys, it's been a lot of fun. Yeah, Zach saw it. So yeah, it's published. Okay. So next week we'll have a replay of some kind. The following week, January 3rd, we'll do a thoughts on 2023, like what we might be looking for, a certain thing that we think could be good or bad or whatever. I think that's a fair thing. And we tentatively talked about, but I think in January we're going to have more like a actor tribute videos. So let's say, for instance, it's going to be J.K. Simmons' birthday in January. So let's talk some J.K. Simmons films and some projects, because he's like one of the most underrated character actors right now. Like he just really, really is. So things like that. We'll do that a couple weeks in January. So Zach says it's -25. Ooh, Great White North, man. Whoa. Yeah, crazy, Zach. Hey, you and Chris Persia, man, you gotta stand by that fire, stay safe, stay warm. So all right, Loki, any last thoughts before we close out here? My voice is failing quickly, it seems.
Well, we're not coming back till next year, right?
I have plenty of time to recoup, so yeah.
Stay safe, be excellent to each other, always speak friend to enter, and talk hard. Never stop talking hard.
Amen, brother. Amen. Yeah, every morning, 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Central. Mornings and Mistress is a must for me. I finally got YouTube conditioned to at least, maybe your video is not first, but at least your channel. If I change the order for my subscriptions, it'll always put your channel near the top so I can find it. So that's at least better than the old way.
Yeah, just trying to look for a show that is shadow banned across YouTube. Yeah.
But comments are being shadow banned now. Like I had an alert that I had a comment from someone, and then when I click it, I go to that video where the comments are, but it's not, that comment is nowhere there. So I went through all
That's
the
crazy.
filters, turned them on and off. I found comments from like weeks ago. It is crazy how YouTube manages things. It's awesome. So Ironcaster, what about you, my friend? Any last thoughts, any last comments or anything like that before we close out 2022?
2022 was an interesting year for films and for cinema. There were certainly a lot of downs, a lot of crap, but there was some good stuff. And I think it's best we try to look fondly on the better stuff and not let the pile of shit overwhelm everything else.
Yeah, I agree, my friend.
I'm sorry. I should probably use this.
He has a sense. Well, at least you can censor yourself. I'm not sure about anything else has to happen around here, but listen, folks, thank you again for all of you in chat, all of your support, being here. Those of you that are members, remember I have a member stream tomorrow. We'll start about 5 p.m. Eastern time, and yeah, it's just been such a blessing in my life to get to do this with you guys every single week. And I appreciate it. And it would only be fitting that we allow for a little Bob Ross to remind everybody, just take some time, head into Christmas, and remember to chill. And here's the master himself teaching us how to chill.
Ross, all I do is chill. My life is a thrill, for real, Bob Ross. I be too calm for the drama. You don't want to cause a problem, I'll solve it, Bob